Hello and welcome to today's presentation on how to find the right controller for your meat processing machinery. Who is speaking to you today? My name is Marco Peter. At the EBCloud company, I work in marketing and communications. With me is Philipp Berchtold, my colleague Philipp. He is the CEO of the EBCloud company. And this is what it is about. This is our controller, the EB1. It is a PLC controller, which is mainly used for smoking systems, and it is compatible with all like major types of brands and smokehouses you can find on the market. But it is also compatible with other types of food processing machinery, such as tumblers or ripening chambers, and so on and so forth. So this controller is produced and designed entirely by us in Switzerland. And when you look at it, you see it has a big, bright display. And this is what we focused on. We tried to make the use of the controller unit as easy as possible for the different kinds of people you find working in the facilities. So up to now, we had very few answers or questions to answer in regards of the usability. The user interface is easy to use. It feels like the navigation on a modern smartphone. People have no trouble finding their programs, changing their programs, and going about their daily processes in their production facilities. The controller comes together with its own data collection software. We call it the EBLuft. The EBLuft logs all important data of the processes, such as the humidity in the chamber or the temperature. And through this, you're able to go back and have a look at the processes you ran, at all the runs of the products. You see in detail how the curves have moved throughout the time. You can even print out the logs and answer all questions in terms of quality and also in regards to the HACCP. So now the question is, how does the right configuration, the right type of software come onto the hardware controller? And this is now the point where I hand it over to my colleague Philipp. He will give you a first-hand insight into the EBCloud platform, which is used to do the configuration and get it ready for the systems. Philipp?
Hey, thank you, Marco, and welcome from my side as well. I hope you can all see my screen now. I'm on the website ebcloud.com on the configuration tab, and I think it's easy in the beginning to just go through those couple pictures. Then you get a sense of how it works, and then we go into the configuration itself and make a new controller. So basically, the applications are for the EB1 controller. As Mark already said, we make baking systems, ripening systems, brewing systems, tumblers, climate rooms, and lots more. And you always have the same controller. So what it is in the end, you have different relay outputs and some relay inputs. And our PLC is easily changeable and programmable, so that depending on what kind of house or what kind of brand you have, you already have some templates on our platform. So what it does is you go on the platform and you choose your template. Once you chose your template, you can see how the software looks like. You order the controller, then the controller comes to you, you unpack it, and you start installing the controller based on the software plans that on the templates are already existing. So basically that says relay 1 could be a fresh air flap, relay 2 could be the heating, and then you have some optocouplers that come back from the smoke generator if everything's fine and running, and then you just simply attach it to the existing power unit. You connect all the cables, and then in the end you run it, and you already have all the processes and everything you need inside the controller. So that's main story of how you can order and use the EB1 controller and how you can use the templates. Now we switch over to the EBCloud software. So I already prepared a login. And when I log in, I see that I already have two controllers there, a Maurer and a Bastra. And now I'd like to add a new controller. And what I do is I go up here to new controller. Then I get into a filter menu where I can actually choose all the different controllers that I have. And there are already a couple in there. Like in total, we have over 100 different templates already ready to just install and go. So for example, I want to have a system type, okay, universal system, smoking system. Yeah, I think I go for a smoking system this time. And then I choose the sensor. Okay, I need PT100. Okay, most of them are already PT100 system. Then I go with an electric, and I see, okay, there's only a Bastra that has already that has electric. Then I go to pneumatic, and so now I'm going to try and choose something that doesn't exist yet. So let's say we only use one speed of the fan. So that's the fan type where you have a frequency drive, for example, or you have 2-speed fans, slow and fast. And so I choose one rate. So there's only one fan, one speed, and it doesn't exist. So now I can actually write, I'd like to have this kind of system or this kind of template, and request it. And then we will prepare it for you. Now for today, I actually don't want to make a request. I actually choose one that is already in there. And so here I go down and I take a Stein. Okay, we have a Stein system, and I can choose it, and then I can import the template into my account. Once the template is in my account, I can actually have a look at it, and I can then work with it, print out the schematics and all that. So here I can see now there's a new template, Stein. Okay, so now we have this template in German, but we'll be able to switch it over to English. For example, I can go to admin mode, and when I'm in the admin mode, I can look around the software and change what I'd like to change. First, I just want to have a look at the PDF. Once I click the PDF, actually it's opening just a simple page of all the settings that now the PLC has. So we can see here it has one heating controller. It's a system that has smoking. So for example, we have a closed system here. So we have a minimum smoking time and a maximum smoking time. Then we have the smoke generator that has ignition. That's one thing, that often you have a smoke generator that has a friction smoke generator, so you don't need a pre-ignition. But as soon as you have heating coils, you need a pre-ignition. So that those all are all the things that we can previously decide and then put the software on the controller. We see we have 3 PT100, room temperature, humidity, and core temperature. So now I actually want to go back. And here I'd like to change my software. So now I see relay 4 is empty. And my Stein has actually an additional contact potential, without any potential to just, I want it to hit a relay. So every time I open a flap, it actually gives me new fresh air. There's a ventilator inside the store where it starts running as soon as the flaps open. So what I do is I actually go and put it as an exhaust fan, and then I say additional fan. And here I can actually decide, do I want to work with some additional ideas like the dehumidification or a ripening. If I don't know what this means, I can always open the definition tab. Once the definition tab is there, I can read what it actually means. Dehumidification through active flaps. So that means if the humidity falls below a certain value, the humidification valve is not used for humidification, but the flaps close and the product starts sweating. So here, I don't want that. I just want an exhaust fan, additional fan, runs when I want it to. So here now this is defined. Next, I have to decide which processes are actually running. So I have drying slow, drying fast, and I think those two, there needs to be an additional fan on the drying too. So I can actually add those two here. So S, I can go down here. S means static on. Now I only have to save and publish. Once I publish, I can download the zip file and add and put the zip file onto USB stick, and actually then simply put it in the PLC and update it, and then we have a new function on relay 4. I can add actually as many templates as I like. Once I have a template done, like here, I can then say inquiry and order. So I can choose what frame I want. I have a plastic frame or steel frame available, what current you use for the surveillance, for example, and if you want to have spring plugs or screw plugs. Once I've done that, I get a quote, and then we will deliver the controller, and you can install it, and we are ready to go for a new controller on an old smokehouse. That's for a short introduction into the cloud. One more interesting thing is when we go back to our website, we can go into the downloads. Downloads itself has a lot of interesting material, but one important thing is once you want to install a new controller, you want to click on the datasheet, and the datasheet just shows you all the information you need when it comes to the PLC itself. On the second page, you actually have the possibility to see which relay are plugged where. So basically you can see on the bottom right, you have a PT100 input. So you have number 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the relay board, you can see the different relays, and you can actually read, okay, phase 1, okay, that's the P, and then relay 1, 2, 3, 4 up until 24. And then the second phase, where you can put other different relays and the optocouplers. These correspond one-to-one with the EBCloud software plan. So once you have the controller, you can then easily connect it to the controller. And with that, I am giving back to Marco.
All right. Now, before we wrap it up, we have received 3 questions. I want to start with the first question. How fast can the controller be delivered, Philipp?
Because we are in an industry where every day counts. So what we do is we always have controllers on stock, and we can usually deliver within a couple days. So you are really fast in switching out and installing a controller. If one old machine breaks down, sometimes it can affect the whole production. So we are inclined to do it as fast as possible.
The second question is, if we cannot do the installation ourselves, can you help?
Yes, of course. We know that the installation for an electrician or for someone who's trained, it can be very easy, but often you want to have someone from the outside who actually installs the controllers. So we have partners all over the world. In Europe, Germany, the Netherlands. We also have partners in Canada, in the US, all over. And we are, of course, then working with those together, depending on how you would like to do it.
And the third question is, how long does the installation of a controller take?
That depends a little bit. If it's an old controller and we already have all the schematics and we can prepare, and it is done through one of our technical experts who has already done it before, we are talking sometimes less than a day. If there is no schematics anymore and we have to figure out how exactly the smokehouse is operating, because often if the smokehouse is 30, 40 years old, the stainless steel is still all very good, still working, but the controller broke down and there's no more schematics. So we have to figure out the schematics first at site, and that could take 2 or maximum 3 days. And then it's up and running.
For the end of the presentation, I want to invite you all to go to ebcloud.dev. And here you have the request access button. Just drop your name, your email address, and leave us some remarks if necessary, and request the access. We will have a look at it and get back to you and grant you the access in a very short amount of time, so you can go inside the software, have a look at it yourselves, test it out, and get a feel for it and start working with it. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for being a part of the presentation, and we wish you a very nice rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.